In UK, the Conservative Party has won Boris Johnson's former parliamentary seat on the western fringes of London. Candidate Steve Tuckwell won the by-election with a majority of 495 votes. However, the ruling party saw its huge majority getting wiped out in the rest of the two seats. The elections were conducted to fill the seats vacated by former Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who resigned as an MP last month. The United States on Thursday imposed sanctions on roughly 120 firms from multiple nations. This was done to choke off Moscow's access to products, money and financial channels that support its invasion of Ukraine. These firms are based out of countries like Russia, UAE and Kyrgyzstan. The sanctions target dozens of Russian mining, technology and munition firms and commercial banks. The United Nations Secretary General condemned the Russian strikes on Ukrainian port city of Odessa. This comes after Russia pounded Ukraine's southern cities with drones and missiles for a third consecutive night on Thursday. The Secretary General said that the attacks violate the agreements which the UN has with Russia. Meanwhile, Ukrainian officials said the strikes killed at least 2 people in Odessa, while in the nearby city of Mykolaiv, which is close to the Black Sea, at least 19 people were injured, including a child. The US Secretary General Janet Yellen hailed Vietnam as a key node in the global semiconductor supply chain. Yellen also said that the momentum of trade and investments between the two countries was showing no sign of slowing down. The visit is part of US's effort to strengthen its economic ties with nations around the world and boost global investment infrastructure. Iraq has expelled its Swedish ambassador. The move comes in the wake of an attack on Swedish embassy in Baghdad, which was set alight by protesters. The outrage was caused by the desecration of Quran in Stockholm. Iraq has also suspended working permits for Swedish businesses such as telecom giant Ericsson on Iraqi soil. The Swedish Foreign Minister Tobias Billström confirmed the safety of the embassy staff. He also said that Iraqi authorities had failed in their responsibility to protect the embassy. The presidents of both Colombia and Nicaragua have expressed willingness to reach an agreement over a dispute on 3 Caribbean islands. Both parties will try to reach a consensus based on a recent ruling by the International Court of Justice. The Nicaraguan President Daniel Ortega demands that a 2012 ruling to be included in the agreement. It gives the Central American country economic rights over 75,000 square kilometers of Caribbean waters. Last week, the UN top court issued a ruling over a disputed maritime border between the two countries, where it rejected its bid to extend Nicaragua's offshore boundaries. A group of 5 First Nation communities of Canada held a protest march against the Ontario government on Thursday. The demonstration was carried out against its decision to allow mining in the mineral-rich region. They alleged that the move has been planned without proper consultation over environmental concerns. Protesters gathered outside the provincial government's Ministry of Mines, chanting "No More Mining" slogans. The region known as the Ring of Fire is key for copper, cobalt and nickel. A report from the Wall Street Journal has revealed that Beijing-based hackers gained access to email account of the US ambassador to China, Nicholas Burns. As of now, State Department has refused to share any detail about the attack, but it says that the investigation is going on. Apart from this, account of Daniel Crittenbrink, who is the Assistant Secretary of State for East Asia, was also hacked earlier. This in turn has thrown the Microsoft security practices under scrutiny as the federal government uses the tech giant's software for its email. The United States Army has expressed deep concern about one of its servicemen who crossed over to North Korea 2 days ago. The man, identified by the Pentagon as the member of the US second-ranked Army, Travis King. The US Army is perturbed about the treatment of the 23-year-old American soldier. Pentagon spokesperson has said the US Army's counterintelligence office is carrying out an investigation to understand King's puzzling move. US Army Secretary Christine Wormuth acknowledged that the soldier would face disciplinary action upon his return to the United States. New York has agreed to pay more than $13 million to racial injustice demonstrators who had filed a lawsuit against it. The lawsuit was filed in the Manhattan Federal Court by about 1,300 people. They took part in the Black Lives Matter protests 3 years ago. These people alleged that they were arrested for beaten for taking part in the racial injustice demonstrations. The agreement allows New York City's administration to avoid a trial that could be both expensive and politically fraught. Meanwhile, Israel continues to see protests against its controversial judicial overhaul plans. The police dispersed protesters with water cannons after they flocked to a highway in Tel Aviv on Thursday. Lawmakers are expected to vote on Monday on the first part of the reforms. The bill, if passed, can block the Supreme Court from voiding decisions made by the government which it deems unreasonable. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said efforts to reach consensus on the judicial overhaul bill are going on. Belarus has released a video showing Wagner Group mercenaries training with its special forces. This is just a few miles from the border with NATO member Poland. The Belarusian Defense Ministry said that the week-long drills will take place near Brest, a city on the Polish border. Meanwhile, the Polish Defense Ministry has said that it was beefing up security at the border. When asked about Poland's move, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said he was paying increased attention to Polish military movements. These drills have caused fear among the people living near Poland's border. Dozens of people took to the streets in Guatemala City to protest against an investigation of presidential candidate Bernardo Arévalo's Similia. Guatemalan prosecutors had conducted a surprise raid of the country's top electoral authority on Thursday, escalating a controversial probe 1 month before the presidential runoff election. Arévalo enjoyed a surge in support in June's first round voting to surprisingly qualify for a runoff against former First Lady Sandra Torres on August 20th. He has threatened to take on the political establishment, which he accuses of being corrupt. The Sri Lankan president is on a two-day visit to India. After meeting External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, Ranil Wickremesinghe is set to meet Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Draupadi Murmu. The Sri Lankan president and Indian Prime Minister will sign key pacts and hold a joint press meet. The key focus areas will include financial and economic ties, maritime security, energy and connectivity. The Indian Ministry of External Affairs noted that the Sri Lanka is an important partner in New Delhi's Neighbourhood First policy. Protests have erupted across India's state of Manipur. This happened after a video gained traction online. Graphic visuals showing two women being paraded without clothes after allegedly being subjected to sexual violence. The incident took place amid the ongoing tensions in Manipur. Some women set fire to the house of one of the accused. As per reports, the women belong to the same community as that of the accused. According to the state's police, 4 people have been arrested in connection with the case. The incident occurred in Kangpokpi district on May 4th, but the video gained traction online after over 2 months. Landslides in India's Maharashtra killed at least 16 people on Thursday. As many as 21 people have been rescued by the National Disaster Response Force. The calamity happened as land gave way at a mountain in a district called Raigarh, flattening several houses and trapping the residents of the area. Rescuers searched for over 12 hours while dodging large boulders in heavy rain and fog. The operation stood suspended at nightfall with about 100 people still feared to be trapped. As per reports, some graves were dug near the site of the incident as it was difficult to get the bodies down. A Pfizer facility in United States, North Carolina sustained significant damage after a tornado ripped through the state on Wednesday. The National Weather Service said the tornado left 16 people injured, 2 of them with life-threatening injuries. Nash County Emergency Services reported at least 89 structures were damaged by the tornado. The tornado lasted for about an hour, spanning a distance of 20 miles. Residents of rain-hit Kentucky had to manage their way through floods with kayaks and half-submerged vehicles. A social media video showed a person paddling a kayak along a flooded residential area in Mayfield after heavy rain hit the zone. Severe flooding forced residents to find other ways of mobility as rainwater sank neighborhoods underwater. The region has been put on a flash flood warning by the National Weather Service. Peru's Ubinas volcano rumbled back to life after days of no detectable activity. The eruption unleashed a trail of smoke in the entire region. A video captured by Peru's Volcanic Observatory shows the moment when a plume of ash and gas erupted 3 kilometers above the crater. Ubinas is Peru's most active volcano. 3 explosions earlier this month prompted authorities to issue an orange alert and declare a 60-day state of emergency. Two Italian Canadair planes are being used for aerial firefighting by scooping up and dropping water. These planes from Italy joined Greece in its fight against wildfires that have burned thousands of hectares as Europe battles extreme temperatures. Wildfires across Greece slowly abated on Thursday after razing swaths of forests and dozens of homes in the past days, but temperatures rose, threatening new outbreaks in the tinderbox conditions. Due to profound impacts of climate change, India's capital city Delhi is projected to suffer a loss of $33.5 billion by 2050. Delhi is expected to experience major changes in precipitation and temperature patterns. This will pose significant threats to the lives of the most vulnerable populations. The warning was issued by the city government's draft action plan on climate change, pending official approval. The projections show a rise in maximum temperatures in Delhi by 1.5 degrees Celsius. The draft plan also indicates a decrease in cold days and nights. UNESCO listed Yazd as the World Heritage Site, describing the city as a living testimony of intelligent use of limited resources available in the desert for survival. Among the testaments are the tall chimney-like towers which rise from ancient adobe homes in the desert city, thus attracting a pleasant breeze for residents on one of the hottest cities in the world. The wind catchers, called Badgirs in Persian, are just one of the engineering marvels developed by the inhabitants in this ancient city in central Iran, where summer temperatures reach over 40 degrees Celsius. Billionaire Gautam Adani takes on a colossal challenge that could reshape the fate of Asia's largest slum. Dharavi, the crowded heart of India's financial capital Mumbai, has long been home to thousands of impoverished families living in squalid conditions without access to basic amenities. Now, a $619 million bid by Adani's conglomerate has been confirmed by the Maharashtra state government to redevelop the sprawling 625-acre area. With the vision of creating a modern city hub, this urban renewal scheme aims to provide gas, water, healthcare and more, but it also demands the massive task of rehousing around 1 million people. Microsoft finds itself in the crosshairs of the European Union's competition enforcer. German rival AlphaView lodged an official complaint against the US software behemoth, raising concerns over the bundling of its video app into its widely used Office product. This marks the second antitrust complaint against Microsoft for the same reason, following a similar grievance filed by Salesforce-owned workspace messaging app Slack back in 2020. As the European Commission gears up to investigate the matter, tensions rise, with AlphaView alleging that the pairing of Office and Teams gives Microsoft an unjustified competitive advantage, detrimentally affecting rivals in the industry.